Are you trying to become more effective in your recording sessions? Are you looking for a vocal chain that'll make you sound better? Are you tired of scouring the internet looking for a video that tells you all that and then some? Well, my friend, you came to the right place because today we're going to be covering all of that. In this video, I'm going to show you my updated recording template and my updated vocal chain going into 2023. This will be geared more towards rap and R&B vocals, so keep that in mind, but without any further ado, let's get right into the video. If you are someone who's looking to record vocals, or you're interested in becoming an engineer or recording people full time, it is quintessential that you have a recording template, because the last thing you want to do whenever an artist comes through is you're, diddling around in Pro Tools, trying to set everything up, trying to set the recording tracks up. You just want to have a recording template ready to go. So with that being said, let's get right into my recording template that I have set up here. The first thing you always want to have is a slot for your 2-track or your type beat, or whatever you're recording with. Moving on from that, you want to have another slot for your recording. Basically, if you want to add tracks to your Pro Tools session, you just go over here to track, new, and then you can select if you want mono stereo, you can go audio, which is what you want if you're recording vocals into that channel. But that's how you create a track. I created a few more tracks. These are going to be areas where I'm actually dropping the recorded vocal into. So I'll record the vocal here. Once it's recorded, I just, drag and drop whatever it is. If I want to drag it into the main vocal channel, I'm just going to boom, drag, drag, drag. All my little punch-ins, I'm just going to drag to the appropriate channel. You're going to find when you're recording rappers, a lot of times they like to punch in, and you want to be able to quickly throw these recorded bits into whatever main vocal channel you have, so you can keep things moving along very speedily and very fluid. All of my vocal channels that then have the recorded vocals, all of those are being fed into a main vocal auxiliary channel. The way you create an auxiliary channel is very similar to the way you create an audio channel. You go to track, new, stereo, auxiliary input. So yeah, I have these vocals routing into my lead vox channel. And then for my lead vox channel, I have all of these sends for my reverb, my delays, plate verbs, doublers, quarter delay, and my parallel compression. You'll see I have, I forget what this is called, some step guitar pedal thing. I get that for distortion. Long verb, I'm just using the air reverb right now. Plate verb, I'm using this live vocal plate. I kind of adjusted and messed with some of these settings, and also depending on the song, I'll mess with these settings too. 8th delay using the H delay by waves, quarter delay using H delay by waves, doubler by waves, and then for the parallel compression, I have the CLA 76. You can see I have the ratio cranked to oblivion, and the input knob pretty much also in oblivion. But yeah, that is the send channels. And very similarly, I have a channel for my ad-libs. I like to separate the lead vox and the ad-libs, because if you have your ad-libs and your main vocal all feeding into the same channel, it'll start to interfere, especially when you have a lot of compression going on vocals. It'll favor whatever vocal is the most prominent, and then the other vocals will just get kind of squished and lost in the mix. So I like to have the ad-libs in its own channel for that reason, and also because I like to have separate and more exaggerated effects on the ad-libs than I would on the main vocal. That's pretty much the main gist of the recording template. The way I have it all routing in Pro Tools is I'll set up the bus channel. You can go to the bus menu, and then I have here set up for bus 15 and 16. And then on your channels for your vocals, you'll want to set the output to bus 15 and 16. So here you can kind of just think about it. Boom, it's going there, boom, going there, boom. This one is for my ad-libs. You'll see I have my ad-lib. I had to set a different bus input for it. Boom, bus 17 and 18. All right, now my ad-libs are going to the ad-libs. So there you can kind of visually see, boom to boom. These channels are flowing into here. This channel is flowing into ad-libs. Now, this is a very dwindled down session. Usually I'll have, sometimes 20, 30, 40, 50 audio channels gone, but I just wanted to shrink it down a little bit for the sake of this. But it helps whenever you have big sessions to route channels this way, because you're gonna save a bunch of CPU and you're gonna save yourself from having a bunch of crashes and a bunch of headaches. And that's the last thing you want when you're trying to be efficient with someone in the studio. You're gonna keep seeing me come back to this efficiency thing and this time thing, because whenever someone is in the flow of things, the last thing they need is the engineer holding up the session and holding up the vibe. You gotta keep things snapping and moving. So now that we got the recording template all kind of covered, I want to go through the actual recording vocal chain that I've been using to record rap vocals. It's probably going to stay about the same for the first few months going into 2023. And then from there, I'll kind of adjust things. I'll probably get tired of some of these plugins and just want to, you know, shake it up. But I'm just going to walk you through this step by step with literally no plugins on anything. And then we're just going to slowly build it all together. But yeah, so the first thing I always do is I want to set the AutoTune correctly. So I go to my record channel and I set the AutoTune to the key of the song. Here we have, I know it was F sharp minor because I made the beat. So I set it to F sharp minor. I always do low male because I have a pretty low voice. If you're trying to do falsettos, you want to go soprano, alto, tenor. Because I can't sing for crap, I put the retune speed all the way up, and I turn up the humanize just a little bit so it's not so robotic-y. I also like the EFX on the recording channel because it seems to have the least latency, especially when I use the low latency setting. It allows me to hear myself with AutoTune without there being a lag in the headphones, which is very handy. The last thing you want is to have the lag in the headphones whenever someone's trying to record, and then it throws off the vibe, and then it throws off the efficiency of the session, and then you're back to square one. You lost a client. Okay, so now that you have your AutoTune set up on your record channel, I also copy that same exact AutoTune onto whatever channel I'm gonna drag the vocal into. I also turn on this host sync sometimes to achieve a different kind of AutoTune effect. And sometimes I'll mess with the minory bumblebee trill. It kind of just affects the like pattern in the inflections that the AutoTune is going to use. And then I also always set it on hard because I suck at singing. So yeah. Yeah, after that, I will put a EQ that has a high pass filter on it. And then I'll also sweep for bad frequencies in the mix. I'll kind of play that here.
Saying, Poppy, please don't wander alone. Anything you need, girl, you can call my phone.
So yeah, I have there the AutoTune and there the EQ on it. Next thing I have is the Pro Tools De-Esser. I like the Pro Tools De-Esser because I can affect the high frequencies only. So yeah, I have the high frequency on, it's running the De-Esser at 7K hertz, and then I drop it down a few dBs so that it's not so intense on those frequencies.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke.
Those are the only ones I put on each individual vocal channel. I'm just trying to do a brief little cleanup before I send it to the main vocal channel that's gonna collect everything. I then go to the Manny Marroquin Triple D plugin. This is a pretty cool plugin. It's really good for cleaning up vocals, especially if you're recording in a bedroom, which, you know, I do and a lot of people do probably 95% of the time these days. It's really good for taking out the boxiness of the vocal, the de-harsh. It takes out some of the harshness, and then it has some of this De-Esser effect on it. I don't really notice ever the De-Esser having too much of an effect on things, but the de-harsher and the de-boxer definitely has a big effect. The first thing I'll do is kind of show you the de-boxy effect.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder.
You see, it just kind of makes it sound a little bit less boxy, a little bit less hollow, and it just kind of cleans it up a little bit. And then you can also adjust the frequency that you want that deep boxiness to attack. To me, it sounds the best right there, so we're gonna keep it right there. And then we have the de-harsher.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke.
Kind of, in my mind, cleans up some of the transients that sound a little harsh. It's just kind of, I don't know if it's like a compressor. I don't really know what it does, but it kind of cleans it up, and it has drastically improved the quality of the vocal. And I try to clean it up as much as I can before I start sending it through these compressors and other saturation effects. The next thing after this is the CLA 76. And a lot of people might be saying, Ben, you're a little hypocritical. Didn't you just make a video saying not to use the CLA 76? And to that, I would say you're right. And I'm just making sure that you're paying attention and just making sure that you're staying on your toes. Because what I really want to use going into 2023 is the BF76, a stock plugin. You might be thinking to yourself, what? Why the stock plugin? Because it sounds better.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke. She saying, Papi, please, I don't want her alone. Anything you need, girl, you could call my phone. Everything I need, but I said when I woke.
Sorry about that. And then I have this MEQ 5. And to be honest, I don't have a full grasp on what exactly it's doing, but I'm thinking I pretty much just boosted some of the frequency at the 2K hertz range. I'm thinking that's all I did right here.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke.
We love mid-range, so you definitely want to dominate the mid-range if you're going to kill a mix, because mid-range sounds pretty much good on every sound system. Your phone, earbuds, in the car, you want your mid-range to sound nice. Then I have the Wave C6. I usually put it on the Pooch vocal, and then I sort of adjust these frequency ranges and where I want the compressor attacking the vocal.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke. She saying, Papi, please, I don't want her.
And then I'll solo each channel to kind of figure out how much compression I want to do. And you can change the attack, release, range, etc.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke. She saying, Papi, please, I don't want.
So already we've gone from
Everything I need, but I said when I woke.
to this.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke.
It's a pretty drastic improvement, but of course we're gonna still affect the absolute hell out of it. Next I have another EQ to roll off some of the lows, and then I also do a little bit of subtractive EQ as well, because the compressor, the two compressors that I've applied have a bit of an effect on the frequency, and I kind of just like to clean it up just a little bit more.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke.
You'll see, that frequency doesn't sound that good to me. And that pretty much came from adding the C6 and the BF76, so I like to clean that up a little bit.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke.
Just see, it sounds a little hollow right there, a little boxy, so I like to go ahead and clean those up. And then I also do a little bit of additive EQ and frequency ranges that I especially like.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke. She saying, Papi, please, I don't want her alone. Anything you need.
And then I'll boost some of the highs starting at around 13K and just kind of roll that off the top. And then after that, I have it going to the SSL channel. Some of you may be thinking, whoa, why do you have so much compression? And to that I say, why don't you have so much compression? But yeah, I like compression. That is the moral of the story. I don't ever use one compressor and crank the hell out of it. I like to use a little bit of compression many different ways, each of them sort of achieving something a little bit different. Here in the SSL channel by Waves, I roll off a little bit more of the highs just to make sure nothing's leaking out in the low end of the vocals. I boost a little bit of the highs, just a little bit around 8K, boost a little bit around the mids, just a little bit more, and then I running this compressor at a ratio of 2, release right here, threshold, bringing it down.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke.
And then from there, I run it to the Scheps Omni channel. This is also by Waves. And then I'm using some of this saturation that's on the board.
Just down to her knees, get her high to the smoke. She saying, Papi, please, I don't want her alone.
Here you just have a bunch of different saturation, different selections that you can use. Each of them achieve a different sound. And then after that, I'm just using an R-Compressor just to roll off the tops a little bit.
She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't wander alone. Anything you need."
And then I'm running fresh air towards the end of the channel.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke. She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't wander alone."
And then a L2 at the very end, just to bring everything up to fill itself in the entire mix.
She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't wander alone."
So now let's do a little comparison with and without the effects.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees.
And with the effects.
She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't wander alone."
And that just sounds so much bigger and brighter to me. Some of y'all might not like the way that I brought it from A to B. Some of y'all might not like the end sound, but to me, I really like the way this vocal sounds. And to me, it sounds like a modern vocal that can cut through the mix and can stand on its own. Of course, I'm biased because it's my song and it's myself mixing it. But yeah, on top of that, I have all of these effects as well. So let's see, I probably ran the long verb just a little bit.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke.
And then I also probably ran the 8th delay a little bit. You can see my 8th delay settings here. It's actually not an 8th delay, it's a 16th delay.
Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke.
And then I have a plate verb after that.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke. She's saying,
I usually use one of the presets in Dave Pensado's folder.
just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke.
And then lastly, I had the parallel compressor. Here it is with the vocal layers added in.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke. She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't."
And then I have these other little ad-libs with the telephone vocal effect on it.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees.
Yeah, that's pretty much the vocal chain right there, including all of its layers. I'm just gonna give you the beat now for a little bit of context so you know what it sounds like cutting through the mix.
Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke. She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't wander alone. Anything you need, girl, you can call my phone." Everything I need, but I said when I woke. Just down to her knees, get her harder to smoke. She's saying, "Papi, please, I don't want."
But yeah, this is pretty much all there is to it. This is my recording template and my recording vocal chain going into 2023, specifically for rap and R&B vocals. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you think I did something taboo in terms of audio engineering, if you think I used way too many compressors, or if you just have any critiques at all, please leave a comment. I'm really open to any discourse, and I would love to have discussions as far as vocal chains go, because at the end of the day, we're all just guessing. We're all just trying to make something that sounds good. But yeah, thanks for watching. Until then, peace.